Case is happening now, and it has dogs, it has rose petals, it has unalivings. I'm down the biggest rabbit hole. Okay, it's the middle of the night, and so I'm trying to whisper and be quiet, and this one is going to take your full attention. So do you got me? Because there's a lot of players, there's a lot of stuff going on. We don't even need an intro, we're just going to get into it. This is the Zachary Hughes trial. It is happening right now. It's called the rose petal unaliving, or the secrets unaliving. You'll get it all when we get there. So this happened on October 13th, 2021. Christina Parcell, she's 41, she's a vet tech, and she was found by her fiance in the middle of their living room when he came home one day. She was unalived, and the strangest thing about this was there was rose petals scattered all around. She was unalived with a kitchen utensil, and it was like over 30 wounds. This was a brutal unaliving, and it had a lot of evidence. There's DNA evidence under her fingernails, and there is evidence of someone coming into the house on a bicycle. You can see them from Ring cameras, so we have that as evidence as well. And it all points to one guy, this dude. This is Zachary Hughes, and Christina and Zachary didn't really even know each other. But there's where this is going to get messy. There's a lot of people here, so keep up with me. It's literally like the red strings. So Christina used to be with this guy. We're just going to call him Mello. That's his last name. Had a daughter. There is a lot of stuff going on with their custody battle. Mello took the child out of the United States to Italy. Didn't let Christina know. It was a whole big thing. So he has charges. Mello is best friends with our guy that's on trial, Zachary Hughes. They were best friends, and apparently Zachary got himself into this whole mess with the custody battle. And that is why they think is the motive. But this case goes so much deeper than that. So Christina now is fiance, or was going to get married to this person. This person is Bradley Post. We're just going to refer to him as Bradley. I hope everybody can get this. So Christina and Bradley had a lot going on before she was unalived. Basically, when they went to go check the crime scene, they found out that Bradley had a bunch of child SA material in his home. This was involving her daughter and her, and we believe other victims. Now, when I say that there was material, this was being distributed, allegedly, and there was another charge on top of that, which was for like backdoor activities. It could be on a human, but in this case, it was on dogs for both of them. Bradley and Christina had SA material of them with dogs and underage children. So could this have been a deeper motive for him, our guy, Hughes, to do what he did? We don't know. Now, this thing is in trial. I think we're coming up on like day 5. We've already had 4 days of trial. And I'm going to try to quickly synopsis what we've gone through here. Now, I want to make something very clear that's going to be interesting in this case. They cannot bring up any of the SA with animals, with children, with anything in this court case. So it is just the unaliving. The jury does not get to hear anything about that being part of the motive. On top of the unaliving, Zachary is also being charged for other harassment charges because he was sending unclothed pictures of Christina to her neighbors and her coworkers, and him and Mello did this together as a, I don't know, form of trying to get her child back or something, we don't know. Hughes, which is on trial, he is a concert pianist, has no former charges at all, and he pled not guilty. So on day 1 of this trial, we got a lot of what the scene was like. They said that there was drag marks, that it was a very red scene. It was very, very violent. Her fiance, Bradley, took the stand. Like I said, the jury is not supposed to know any of the charges at all. But they got his testimony. He is the one that found her in their living room. And he kind of gave his testimony on everything. But it was, I'm sure, very awkward for the people who knew. Day 2, we had someone else come into the picture. That is Christina's sister. Now, she mainly talked about the custody battle between the two and how Mello took the daughter out of the country without the permission and how messy this custody battle was. This is also when we get some of the description of the suspect. He was seen on a bike. That bike was later saw in Hughes' truck in the back. The suspect was also wearing a black and gray hoodie, one just like what Hughes had on. And so we got some of the little details of the crime as well. What they are saying is that Hughes basically was trying to help Mello out with his custody battle, and that is the motive for all of this. Of course, we can't hear the rest of it in court. Day 3, we got a little bit of what they did to Christina as far as putting her pictures out there on an escort site. Also, what we got, which kind of proved a lot of the relationship between our guy Hughes, who's on trial, and Mello, which was they had just amped up their texting and their talking. And we also got some evidence of them, the two, Mello and Hughes, talking a lot during the times before and after the unaliving. The day before, they spent 2 hours talking. The day after, they spent like an hour and 20 minutes talking, which was kind of unusual in their phone records. So, of course, that does set off red flags that they were talking about something. Day 4, the biggest things were we found out that Christina had a punctured lung and 2 wounds to some big arteries in her body, and again, just pointing out that this was a very, very violent act. And you also have Hughes deleting text messages as the police were coming, deleting pictures, all of that thing. So yeah, flags. On day 4, we also got a bombshell about the DNA. The DNA is what's probably going to do it in for this case. There was a DNA expert. They said that it was 825 times more likely that it was Hughes' DNA than it was anybody else's. So now I know I talked fast. I know that was a lot of information coming your way, but this case is bananas. I am literally down the rabbit hole trying to find information out for you guys. I tried to put as much information about the case and then information about the trial so that you can kind of go through that. I would definitely be paying attention to this one. This one's going to be so weird and interesting. And what I think is really interesting in this case is I want to know your guys' opinions. Do you think it was right for Hughes to do this? And I'm asking you seriously, because if there was the motive behind the child SA and the dog SA and all of these things that we're talking about, if Hughes knew about it, like Mello told Hughes and Hughes knew about it and that was the motive, do you think it was right? Because when everything comes out in the wash, if this is all true, Christina and Bradley were pretty bad people. So this is definitely a case of like what is right and what is wrong, and I want all of your opinions in the comments, please. I want to know what you guys think. Let's start a discussion. Let's have a civilized discussion about this. It's going to bring up a lot of trauma for a lot of people and a lot of things and feelings, so let's be nice about it. But please let me know your opinions below, and I will be updating you guys on this case. I swear the world gets horrible and horrible more and more each day, and I'm just exhausted, so I'm going to bed. Good night.